Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of BellyUpSports.
Get rid of the fucking salary cap. Just rip the Band-Aid off, man. Just no more DPs, no more U22 initiatives. Just rip it off. We're 30 years or so into MLS. We're no longer pinching pennies. We're no longer losing $200 million per season and on the verge of folding. We keep growing year by year. The sponsorships and everything, especially with Messi here right now, better take advantage of it right now before it all dries up. Just get rid of the salary cap. Just let the team spend. If they have the money, let them spend. If they don't have the money, then they're going to have to find another way to get competitive. But that's the way it is around the world. The big teams pull away because they have the cash to do it, and the small teams, they stay where they are because they don't really have the funds to get the players. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the parity and I like all the aspects of what makes MLS American and, trying to follow the trend of the other American sports in this country. But this is also soccer. This isn't just America. It's the world's game. If you want to be competitive in the world's game, you got to play like the rest of the world. There's none of this like holding onto the hand or like training wheels bullshit. Just take it all off. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just get rid of the salary cap. Let the team spend. If they can spend the money, let them spend, because that's essentially going to help attract more casual fans and stuff. You don't see teams in the Prem just pack it in because they don't have the money to do so. No, they're actually competitive because of everything that we talked about with the development and also the contract as well. The TV contract, it's the best TV contract in the world in football, the Premier League. So maybe also that as well. Like, Apple TV, you have a huge contract with them. Everybody gets their fair share of slice of the pie. And, it's up to the teams if they want to spend it smartly and, keep investing into the team and win championships. Good for them. But if you keep spending it in places where you don't need to spend and you end up in a hole, tough shit, because that's on you, because you decided to spend your money your own way. This is no longer the MLS of 1996. This is the MLS of 2024 heading into 2025. Just take the Band-Aid off, let the team spend, and you'll see the results and the ratings go up.
No, I think I agree with that. I think honestly, if there was one thing that MLS should have been copying from baseball, should have been how the salary cap is handled in the MLB, not the playoff format. Because and then there's more. And I think when you mentioned the whole parity, because the playoff part is where the parity comes into play. Like, any given day, anyone can come off in a playoff game. But I think what you said is completely valid. Like, I think, there's more than one way to fit a roster, whether you aim more towards the academy side, which, I mean, like a team like Southampton, like example, they've been more known for their academy, but they somehow stay afloat in the Premier League. I could be wrong about that. I think they're in the championship right now. But usually
they're the Prem, they're bottom.
Okay, well, I mean, but point proven still, a team that gets into the Prem, despite the fact that they're just a kind of a developmental team, which most of the players end up going to bigger, brighter places once they leave there, but they still somehow always flirt around with the Premier League. And then you have your big money teams, right? The Man City. Are they always going to win? Not always. I know, Davi, I know you're a Man City fan, but I mean, but you expect them to win because of the fact that they have invested so much on that team. You get the best players, you expect to win. Same thing like baseball. Sometimes you have that small market team like the Arizona Diamondbacks that wins the World Series that one time or 2 times actually. And then you have the teams that spend a bunch of money, got Ohtani and wins the World Series. like that, those are things happen. You have teams that spend money and win, but then you have people that spend little money and still win. So there's not like a clear way to fit a roster. And I think that's what soccer and football brings to the table is like,
I think that's why the Yankees sold 10% of their stake to Marcelo Claude because they want to keep Juan Soto.
fair enough, dirty tactics, but do what you gotta do, right?
Dude, yeah, you do what you got to do, and plus, I don't see the Yankees being a part of the equation for NYCFC in the future. I think once the stadium opens up at Willet's Point, I think they're done.
Yeah.
Fair enough
Yeah.
too, because I mean, Man City is more of plenty of a resource. Which I mean, speaking of if you get rid of that salary cap, I'm sure having the resources of Man City Group, and just being able to have guys miraculously just pop up in your roster and then miraculously just disappear, could be beneficial as well for NYCFC. But once again, like if you have your resources, let those teams use it. Like the fact that Inter Miami, coming into the season had to like jump through hoops just to make it within the salary cap or whatever whatever the hell that was. I don't know what they actually did. It feels like the
Yeah,
roster stayed
and
the
they
same.
also got caught when they came into the league
Yeah,
cheating. Yeah,
yeah,
It's wild. Like I said, the amount of money that goes in the MLS is crazy. But you mentioned New York City FC. They brought in $95 million last year, and they had a $9 million operating budget. 9 million. The average operating budget in the MLS is 14 million. Or sorry, the average operating budget in the MLS is 7 million. The top is 14 million. So all these guys brought in over $100 million, or at least over 70 million, $60 million.
yeah. Not only that, I think
And
like
they don't do anything with it.
a certain percentage goes to the Yankees and the Mets for using their stadium too, because we need to pay for the changing of the fields, and then also they're not just going to let in some random MLS club come into their stadium and play. Like we actually need to pay up. So
it's
But it's
crazy to
like,
think too, though, because like when you think of like Chicago, right? They sold what's his name, the goalkeeper, Gaga Slanina, right? I think it was like a huge transfer, right, for him, and they can't even really use that money, right, because of the fact that you can only use this amount of money to spend, even though you had, I think it was like their biggest transfer was Gaga Slanina going to Chelsea. I could be wrong on that, but it was like
ever, yeah.
it was a very good transfer budget for them, and they can't even use that whole amount to go and get players. And maybe had they been able to use that money to go get two or three guys, maybe Chicago's season would be a little bit different than what it was. Um, and I think same thing for, I mean, Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia doesn't spend money, but I mean, at the same time, they've sold so many players to Europe at this point. The Aronson brothers. I don't want to list any more players because I can't stand Philadelphia, but I mean,
I mean,
I,
their team would be pretty good. They're way better than what it is now if they were actually able to use that money. I mean, NYCFC in the summer of 2023, they sold Tati Castellanos and they sold Gabriel Pereira. Castellanos was out at loan in Girona, and then we sold him to Lazio for about $17 million, and then we sold Gabriel Pereira to the Qatar League for I think about 10 million. So we ended up making around 30 million in last summer, and we were able to use like the I think the amount was like 2.5 million or something like that. Like no more than 3 million we could use to for transfers, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because if you make 30 million dollars in sales and player sales, you should be able to use every single one of that penny to make your team better.
yeah, fair enough. And I think same thing. Like if you look at FC Dallas, right? When at one point FC Dallas was like this academy just shits out many players, and you mean to tell me the guys that were responsible for Chris Richards, for Weston McKennie, for Reggie Cannon, even though that didn't pan out too well for him, um,
Pepe,
Brian
Ferreira.
Reynolds, Pepe,
Yeah.
like all these guys that have gone to Europe and are actually featured on the U.S. men's national team. You mean to tell me they can't use any of that money to honestly, it's crazy to think that FC Dallas is one of the original six and doesn't have an MLS Cup on their shelf, and they have had they were at one point the standard when it comes to academies, and
Yeah.
couldn't even take advantage of that because they can only spend this X amount of dollars because of the salary cap. Yeah, I think I think Davi, you picked the perfect one to end this with because of the fact that like, yeah, the salary cap needs to be addressed and it needs to end. So
Yeah, also just the disappointment of like you could either pick three DPs and a certain amount of U22s or pick like 322s and like three U22s and like two DPs. That's so stupid. Just make it 4 or 5 DPs. If you want to take it slow, make it 4 or 5 DPs max. And if you see the results and the ratings go up, just rip off the salary cap bandage and just be, hey, to hell. Free market for everybody. You could throw your money as you want.
like if I could have someone not like I mean obviously maybe that'd be funny to have like someone explain to me Gam and Tam, but like the DP rule is weird. Like I can get a fourth DP, but if I choose not to use the U22 initiative or like I can only use two U22 initiative players and then I can get four DPs. But then if I want to have four U2 initiative players, I can have like it's just like I'm a simple person. I'm stupid and I'm proud to say that. And you mean to tell me that you got to make this so complicated? Like I'm gonna say, I'm if I ever am able to be like in front of like an MLS employee or maybe Don Garber himself, I would tell him explain it to me like I'm four. What the hell this whole player acquisition process? What the fuck is GAM and what the fuck is TAM? Because I still have no idea.
I think TAM is salary and GAM is like what you can trade with.
Well, GAM is also general allocation money, which is spread out amongst the entirety of the MLS too.
So you mean to tell me like now my GAM also goes to FC Dallas?
Oh no, I was about to say Davi paid for his New York City FC team paid a partial amount for Carballo to be signed by the Red Bulls this year.
Oh man, I bet he doesn't want to know that now.
No, I mean it doesn't matter. He's not going to the cup anyway.
Every MLS team has the when GAM is used, that is money that is distributed amongst the MLS teams. And that's not even counting, like, we haven't even talked about allocation status and like the allocation lists that we've talked about before, where you can just put any random player on your name on a list for, hey, we found this guy, even though this guy's been like 27-year-old.
The discovery rights, stupid crap. Yeah.
Dude, it would have been so crazy to see CR7 in fucking Kansas shopping at a Walmart. It would have been so funny.
He's not sure if he's in Kansas or Missouri.
Yeah,
that would be
it's
hilarious.
Absurd, man. I'm ready for this. Yeah, like Davi said, just rip the Band-Aid off of this whole roster situation.
Who had the rights to Messi? Initially, it wasn't Miami.
No, it was Kansas City. I believe it was Sporting KC.
No, that's for Ronaldo.
Was it Ronaldo?
Yeah, that was Ronaldo.
Then was it? It wasn't St. Louis.
I think was it Charlotte? I think Charlotte had like Royce, and like they were playing hardball to like trade it away to the Galaxy so they can actually.
I remember that.
Like it's what the hell is discovery rights? Like just get rid of it.
How do you discover a 34-year-old? Like,
how do you discover like CR7 and like him throwing a chair at a teacher in like Portugal? Like, that makes no sense.
Saw him on YouTube one day. You ever heard Joga Benito? It's insane. Yeah, MLS needs to. I think that in general, MLS just needs to make this not complicated. Like it's simple, right? This game has been simple since the creation of time. There was a point where all you needed was a ball and then maybe someone's backpack, like 4 backpacks, and you could create a game. And like MLS.
Shoes, just give me some sandals over there, boy. I'll put together two goals just with some sandals.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, my shirt was a goalpost at one point.
Yeah, we've done that too.
So it's insane, like how simple this game can be, but a league can make it so fucking complicated. So yeah, man, I think Davi, this is a perfect one. I think the solution is obviously straight up just rip the Band-Aid off, get the salary cap over with. If you're broke, you're broke. If you're not, well, spend your money.